On the morning of November 20th, two boys discovered the bodies of murder victim Sonja Johnson along with her friend Dolly Cepeda. They were taking the bus home when Hillside Stranglers Angelo Buono and Kenneth Bianchi saw them. The two men presented false police IDs and abducted both of them. The two girls' bodies were found 1 week later. Sonja was a 9th grader at St. Andrew's School in Pasadena, California, and Dolly, a 7th grader. Good evening, I'm Leslie Stahl. Tonight on 10 Minutes, we take a look at one of the most famous serial killing duos, the Hillside Stranglers. Originally thought to be just one person, Angelo Buono and Kenneth Bianchi were later discovered to be cousins in crime. We have one of them with us now. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Bruno.
It's Buono, and thanks for having me.
Let's start with some information about your childhood. What can you tell us about it?
Well, my parents got divorced, and I ended up living with my mother in Glendale, California.
Were there any indicators in your childhood, Mr. Bino, that you would become a serial killer?
Buono.
Sorry, Bono.
Well, I've always really hated women. As a child, I verbally assaulted my mother. Eventually, I did that with all women.
And all your victims were women, correct?
Yes.
What about education? Did you graduate high school or go to college?
Well, I skipped school a lot, and when I was 16, I dropped out. I went to reform school, but then I escaped.
And you opened your own little shop, didn't you?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I opened my own upholstery shop.
Okay. What about your relationships? Were you close to anyone?
Well, when I was 21, I got Geraldine pregnant.
Who's Geraldine?
She's just this girl from high school. She was 17.
Did you raise the child together?
Well, I married Geraldine, but less than a week later I left, and I didn't pay child support.
Any other relationships?
When I was 22, I had a son with my girlfriend Mary.
And did you leave her too?
No, we had 4 more children together.
How long did you two stay together?
Well, Mary filed for divorce, and when she tried to reconcile with me, of course I threatened to kill her.
Of course. You must have been pretty mad, huh?
Well, she didn't try to reconcile with me again.
Is that the last of your relationships?
I moved in with Nanette and had 2 children with her.
Wow, 3 wives and 8 children? That's a lot.
I wasn't finished.
Okay.
I married Deborah.
Okay, well, we need to move on to the next question. Let's talk about your killings.
Well, first, my cousin came to live with me. He helped with the murders.
Kenneth Bambi, right?
No, Bianchi.
Sorry. So who was your first victim?
Her name was Yolanda Washington.
Why did you kill her?
She gave Kenneth and I a trick list.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, Kenneth and I were short on cash, so we decided to get girls to work for us as prostitutes. We bought a list of men from Yolanda Washington and Deborah Noble, but they gave us a trick list. We would have killed Deborah too, but we couldn't find her.
After that, how many more people did you kill?
9. All women between the ages of 12 and 28.
What did you do with them?
Together, we kidnapped them and brought them back to my house. Then we sexually assaulted them and tortured them. After killing them, always by strangulation, we would wash the bodies of evidence and dispose of them around LA, usually on hillsides.
And that's how you got your nicknames, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. That and posing the nude bodies.
How and when were you caught for these killings?
Well, Kenneth told the police that I had done them.
Why would he do that?
Well, Bianchi moved to Washington and committed 2 more murders without me. He was immediately connected to the crimes, and he told police that he had multiple personalities. He said that a guy named Steve, one of his personalities, had done the murders. A psychologist was able to prove it false, but then he was connected with the murders that we had done together. In order to avoid capital punishment on those murders, he gave my name to police.
Can you tell us about your trials?
Well, it was one of the longest in U.S. history at the time. Well, Kenneth took back his original statement and said that he wasn't sure if he was telling the truth that I had done the murders.
But eventually you were convicted.
Yeah, our case went all the way to the California Supreme Court, but there were enough witnesses to prove that we had done the murders.
And ultimately, both of you ended up spending life in prison for your crimes.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, Mr. Buono, for joining us tonight. Buono died of a heart attack in prison in 2002, while Bianchi still continues to serve his sentence in Washington State. And that's all for this evening, folks. I'm Leslie Stahl, and thank you for watching 10 Minutes.
There's a car right there. It's like
Those guys are not criminals.
disclaimer.
Really?
Okay.
I'm videoing you.
Camera lady's got some sass.
That's for sure.
Get it.
Borderline creepy.
Sorry.